Now, in my briefing to you, let me concentrate on three areas. Number one, our collective effort for the last 9 months in trying to bring an end to this aggression against our people in occupied land of the State of Palestine, with special emphasis on the atrocities and the genocidal war against our people in the Gaza Strip. We partially succeeded in adopting a number of resolutions in the Security Council and the General Assembly, but we did not succeed yet in having a permanent ceasefire and putting an end to this war and providing our people with all necessary humanitarian assistance to the level that they need, particularly in the Gaza Strip, and to stop the crime against humanity of the forced transfer and to allow the people in the Gaza Strip to return to the areas where they were forced to leave, from the north, from the central part, and from the southern part of the Gaza Strip. Of course, a significant resolution was adopted recently, a resolution that is composed of 3 stages, starting with the first stage of a ceasefire for 6 weeks and the exchange of prisoners and detainees and hostages, which, in our opinion, would be the first stage of a permanent ceasefire that should be a permanent and lasting ceasefire through the second stage and all stages, to be accompanied also with the total withdrawal of Israel from every part and every inch of our precious land in the Gaza Strip. Now, that important resolution, which was adopted by 14 votes in favor in the Security Council and only 1 abstention, so you can say almost by consensus, almost unanimously adopted, we need to find ways, all of us and the Security Council, to begin the process of implementing that resolution, beginning with an immediate ceasefire. And we have to continue with efforts by all of our friends, some of them who are members of this committee, who are members of the Security Council. I see Malta, I see Algeria, and others, who are members of the Security Council, to really succeed in beginning the process of the implementation of that resolution. We are grateful for our brothers and sisters in Egypt and Malta who are playing in Qatar, in succeeding in being a facilitator to reach the moment of beginning the implementation of that resolution. We know the United States of America is playing an active role also with these 2 Arab countries and Israel as well to begin the process of the implementation of this important resolution. So therefore, our top priorities remain ending the war, having humanitarian assistance to scale for our people in the Gaza Strip, and to stop the forced transfer. These are our 3 very clear objectives that we were able to unite the Arab groups, the OIC group, the NAM, of course the committee is on board, the African group, the Latin American and Caribbean group, the Europeans, almost everyone behind these 3 very precise objectives to bring this war to an end, in order to start preparing for the following stages of repairing our lives and beginning the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip. So there is a lot to be done in this regard. We have to stay the course, and the committee has to continue pressing in that direction until we make it a reality. So that's the first item. The second item is related to another thing that our committee was very active and still very active in pursuing, which is, that the efforts that we exerted, beginning with countries in the Caribbean, for the recognition of the State of Palestine as an investment in peace and saving the two-state solution, and allowing the Palestinian people to exercise their natural and legal right as, exercising their self-determination, to not only to ask countries to recognize the state, but also to admit the state to membership at the United Nations. In this effort, the chairman and myself, we traveled to a number of countries in the Caribbean in April and in May, and that effort, with previous efforts that we've exerted and others exerted with us, allowed for the recognition of the State of Palestine by 4 countries from the Caribbean countries. Yes, and also Cuba and Nicaragua were with us as part of the delegation, but and Cuba, yes. But what I wanted to say that these 4 countries that recognize the State of Palestine is Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Bahamas. And this way, all the 14 countries from the Caribbean countries are now, all of them have recognized the State of Palestine. Now, we had signed jointly with some of them letters that we sent to the Secretary General, and through him to inform all member states that recognition or decision by the 2 sides of having, diplomatic relationship at the level of ambassadors between the 2 states as states. Now, this wave in the Caribbean was followed by another wave in Western Europe, which is significant because Western Europe, over the years, since the year 2011, we did not succeed except with 1 country, Sweden, to recognize the State of Palestine. But the second wave that came after the Caribbean wave from Europe, from Western Europe, was led by Spain, then joined by Ireland, Norway, Slovenia, and a few days ago, last week, Armenia. So that's the second wave, and we will continue working for more countries to recognize the State of Palestine. And we are also, in the trip coming, particularly to Indonesia, we will be deliberating on maybe some structures, if we agree to form, with countries in that region to help us with a wave in Asia, particularly with New Zealand, Australia, Japan, and Korea, because these 4 countries, some of them, Japan and Korea, who are in the Security Council, voted in favor of the resolution for the admission of the State of Palestine, and 4 of them voted in favor of the resolution in the General Assembly, in which the General Assembly, among other things, asked the Security Council to reconsider the application of the State of Palestine and to give a recommendation. So that if we succeed also in having another wave in Asia, that would make it, so powerful that we will cross the 150 countries recognizing the State of Palestine. We are at the 149. And that would make it more difficult for the 1 country that casted the veto to deny us our natural and legal right to be admitted as a member state, to make it difficult for them to continue with this path. So that the effort for recognitions in the direction of the admission, so that we can have 2 states equal, full member in the United Nations, to move into the 3rd item that I want to talk about, which is the political horizon, that would allow for beginning the process of the implementation of the global consensus on the 2-state solution, to beginning the process of the implementation of this global consensus, meaning to start negotiating the end of that occupation and the independence of the State of Palestine with East Jerusalem as its capital, so that not only that we have the State of Palestine admitted to the UN in the beginning of the process, not at the end of the process, but yet we will begin the process of the implementation of the withdrawal of Israel from our occupied land and the independence of our state. And that is what we call the political horizon. And we need to move into these three stages, as I refer to them, that the one to stop the war, reconstruction of the Gaza Strip, rebuilding our life, unifying our ranks, to more recognition that would allow us to be admitted to a membership at the United Nations, and eventually to end with the implementation of the global consensus on the two-state solution, so that we have the reality of the independence of the State of Palestine and to live in freedom and dignity. So that this is more or less our vision and our plan as we move forward. I think it is crystal clear, and we need really to shift gears in order, to maximize our efforts for the accomplishment of these objectives, as I have, explained. And in this regard, the committee is in the forefront for, accomplishing these objectives. They are intertwined and they are congruently connected with the mandate given to the committee in the General Assembly. And as we see in the General Assembly, almost we have consensus in rallying and being united around these objectives, and therefore, hopefully, to reach the noble objective of having peace in the Middle East through the fulfillment of the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people.